Who would have thought a scientist would be the one to say something remarkable about creativity in my eyes? David Bohm was an absolutely brilliant theoretical physicist. And a testament to his brilliance is that when I read his work, I understand about 20 to 25% of all that he says. But in those 20 to 25% of ideas, there are just such incredible golden nuggets that I'm just amazed by him, and I look upon science a little bit more fondly. I have my own biases in history with science, so my opinion's not that important there anyway, but I truly think that if all scientists were like him, not only would I have more passion for science, but the world as a whole would just be a better place, honestly. It's science with a focus on bettering humanity. And one of the key points that he makes in his book, Science, Order, and Creativity, is that in order to advance in any skill, you need to have a good amount of free play. Now, what is free play? Free play is any amount of participating in something without any sort of direct end goal from it. We've all free played in some way, and it looks different across different avenues. Like in music, you could call that jamming on your guitar. You're not playing a set piece of music with the goal of reciting it perfectly. You know, you're just playing for the sake of playing. And I don't know, in acting, you could say that it's the equivalent of doing some fun improv without the intent of putting it on as a show for people to critique as like a piece of art. It could transfer over to sports, where if soccer free play could be, you know, I'm just kicking the ball around doing fun little tricks and stuff, or testing how hard I can kick the ball, all that stuff. Free play. Now, free play is important both because not only does it enliven your spirit toward whatever it is that you're participating in, you know, it it gives you a good feeling when you're free playing. It also forces you to brush up against the places of dissonance. Places where your thought about this particular skill and participating in that skill in reality where they don't quite match up. Now that sounds like it would be discouraging, but because free play is not done with any specific goal, there's no sense of failure when you do brush up against areas of imperfection. It is a wonderful way for you to find, ironically, a more refined skill set. Because of this big open space that it affords you. I think that's what a lot of people lose from a teacher with a really rigid teaching style of every single day we're doing exactly this at this hour. Or in the workplace, we're doing this at this time. Period. That is the vast majority of how all education and workplace works, doesn't it? But study after study has shown that giving just any amount of time where a participant is allowed to just do whatever they want, ironically, it feeds back into the stuff that they absolutely need to get done, the stuff that's on the rigid schedule. Now, by no means am I saying that free play is the only thing that's important in advancing your skill. And I don't even think 100% free play even feels good. I think it ceases being fun after a while. If you just sit down at the piano and you never do any scales, for example, if you're always just messing around on it, I think that you come to a point where you're like, man, I feel like I should get a little bit more rigid at times in order to pinpoint in on specific things that I need to improve upon. Right? There's a balance. And the boundary between rigid practice and free play, it's one that you kind of need to determine yourself. It's more one that you feel than you can really define. But man, is it incredible When you didn't have an end goal and you still walked away from something being like, man, I really leapt forward in that today. And I feel like I'm finding a rhythm of free play with these videos, wherein I do keep quite a schedule of ideas that I'm going to talk about on certain days, and I've narrowed it down to like this day of the week, I'm going to keep it within this category or that category. And I do try to let that idea sort of ripen in my brain before I speak it here, but then once the camera turns on, I consider this the free play aspect of it. I spit it out, and wherever it lands, that's just where it is. And I think I'm getting better at this all the time for it.